I think key part of
I
it's
felt
they're building the characters.
I think I have a different opinion. I thought that the relationship between the three of them was almost the element that kind of didn't work for me. Like the disparity between the ages just on screen, even if not the characters, the way they were written weren't meant to be, just looked so big. I mean, the boys looked like boys, and she was quite clearly a woman. And a lot of the scenes just felt not almost kind of paedophilic in like a way, because they just looked so young. And I felt that was probably the only unrealistic angle of the whole thing. I think their kind of emotional roller coaster, being honest, telling each other they've cheated, like going on this trip together, was good. But I found that the element that was the most unrealistic, I thought, but it was the most obvious because you could see that it was going to happen.
See what
could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
You could see that they were going to sleep with her as soon as she decided to go on the trip. But I just felt that that was quite like an unrealistic angle.
I feel like it was strange, at the time. I figured like it is weird, but she's just letting herself go because she's just she's in that they found her at this perfect window where she's just kind of like parted ways with this bloke, and she just wants to have a bunch of fun, and like they've shared enough between them that they can just do that. But it's not the idea that you have a resistance to it. It's just their age. Is that what you're saying?
But it was later revealed that she knew she had cancer at that point.
Yeah.
At the end, which I think was
I think if she knew she had cancer, and obviously the catalyst was her husband cheating on her, she wouldn't go for her husband's cousin, who's so much younger than her, kind of thing. I don't know. I just felt it was it's quite like a leap. It's like a playground story. Like,
and I think in that you've kind of, for me, you've hit upon the point as to why I actually, to your point, Liam, felt that it didn't feel too gratuitous, is because it had that balance of showing these boys that have that kind of youthful arrogance about them. They kind of talk up their game of how many girls they slept with, blah blah blah, and they kind of had the brazenness to go and chat her up in the first place. But they had that, but then kind of on the other side of that, you have their complete naivety exposed afterwards, so that it makes it feel like you're going, oh, well, that's where it feels real. And I think if you had them being these super brazen, arrogant kids that then come out and gave her the best sex of her life, I think I'd be like, then that would be ridiculous. But the fact that it wasn't that, and it did manage to kind of expose their naivety a little bit, I think made it more acceptable to me. I think that was the reason why.
I agree. And also the fact that when they got what they'd been wanting the entire time, it wasn't really, all they'd imagined it would be. Like, Diego Luna's sitting on the edge of the road, like kind of crying, and she's like, well, isn't this what you wanted? Wasn't this your game the entire time? So that kind of realized it for me. It was like, they've dreamt of having sex with this, beautiful woman, but once they've got it, they're just like, I'm still pissy, or I'm still kind of like,
That's what shows the maturity, the difference in the ages of the characters, is that she's the one that's then showing her maturity and experience, being like, well, yeah, now welcome to what you thought it was like, but it's not like that. So, but it is a film of emotions, isn't it? Entirely, the whole thing is just a film of different emotions. And
did you find like, how many times did you laugh and that weird moment?
I say I enjoyed it more than I laughed.
Yeah, I didn't laugh much.
I didn't laugh much.
I laughed a few times, but mostly like there weren't any jokes necessarily, but it was more like when they were just failing miserably in the bedroom.
Yeah, I enjoyed both Diego Luna and, I should remember his name. Is it Gael? Yeah, Gael Garcia Bernal. I really liked just their chemistry, their dynamic, and I really enjoyed their friendship and on-screen relationship, and I found that entertaining. Like just their childish antics, even at the wedding, and just how they are. Like they're so cocksure of themselves when they're first talking to her, and I really enjoyed that. And then it's good to see the breakdown in their relationship, because you can see that they're so strong before, and it's entertaining to watch early on, and then suddenly it hits more powerfully. Like, I wouldn't say it was funny, but certainly enjoyable.
Without wanting to step on your toes in any potential questions coming up, Guy, what did you guys think of the ending in terms of like the way it took? Well, these free-spirited, there you go,
Yeah.
free-spirited young boys that had the world at their feet, and then he studies economics, and then it turns around and tells you that the beach was turned into a hotel, and
can see what it was doing, and of course it's more of a powerful ending. Can't say I liked it though, personally. It's not the ending that I would have wanted for the film. It's not the ending I would have conceived for them. It was so like bam as well. Like, we've hit that climax, and then bam, this is the final scene. By the way, this has happened to her, and they don't talk anymore, and that was the last time they ever see each other. I was like,
I just didn't believe that.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe that they would never see each other again.
Yeah.
That just didn't seem believable to me at all.
Yeah.
I thought it could have.
The idea made sense to me, because they've been doing that the whole film. All those like punctuating voiceovers where it's like, here's all the fun, here's all the life, here's all the exuberance, and then here's the fucking cold reality. They did that like 10 times throughout the film, and then that's the last occasion. So it made sense to me, but it was a leap. I think my question is, what reason can you find for why they wouldn't have spoken anymore? Can you find anything?
I found the reason that was in the film as the ending could have possibly just been creative licenses to make it suddenly like a whoa, this is the twist at the end, but it doesn't work like that. But the reason they might not have spoken to each other is just the only way I can really see it is that those events just drew them apart afterwards. Basically, these two really good friends at the start, they go on a journey which by the end established that life isn't so simple. Their friendship, no matter how strong a friendship is, there's always complications and there's always cracks. And this road trip, like, uncovers those cracks.
It does.
I think I would have preferred it.
They ended on such a high, when they were drinking around the bar and stuff with the woman, and then they end up having like sex and stuff together, and then they share a strange moment, where they're kissing and whatnot, boys. And then the following morning, it seems like that's the parting. That seemed to be the last, intimate moment they shared before they split. So I wonder whether that was it.
For me, it's like you said, Liam. I got the point as to why they did it, but it just felt like it was just serving to make the point rather than actually being believable itself. And I think those kind of cold reality moments when he was, making those points throughout the film. That is probably my biggest grievance with it, is that actually a lot of the time I didn't feel they either worked particularly well or I just didn't really believe them. So, and I think when it isn't as believable, it becomes more apparent as they're really trying to make a point in this moment in time, which I don't particularly enjoy.
The one that I thought that worked the best was when they're in the car at the beginning and there's a voiceover talking about like Julio and Tenek are told her loads of stories, and the stories like reinforce the bond, and although the stories were embellished, the truth was kind of like always there, but it was partial. I thought that was a brilliant one. And
so don't let the truth get in the way of a good story type.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, not all the details are going to be shared with this woman that they're trying to create a bond with. They'll pick and choose what they choose to say and what they choose to leave out, because not all of it's necessary. You don't need to hear about Tenek like putting his foot up on the toilet seat or whatever when he goes around his mate's house or whatever else. So when they were like kind of strange, very particular, specific details about like one of the characters' like lives, either in the future or in the present or in the past, I thought those worked really well. It was the random ones, like the socio-political ones, which were jarring and kind of difficult to reconcile with the rest of it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think my favorite line in the film was when they'd just gone and Julio just told Tenek that he'd banged his girlfriend. And the narrator comes in again for those kind of moments and says something along the lines of, Tennant keeps pressing for answers for more details when he doesn't really want to know the answers to, and Julio's there shaping and softening the edges of each part of the puzzle to make it more bearable for him for his own story and purposes. And I agree with you, when those bits did come in that kind of served to build their relationship with one another further, I think they worked really well. Really agree.
I like the one that it was sort of highlighting the different backgrounds and the perhaps income between the two different families of the two different boys, and it said about how when he realised his nanny, who he called mother for 4 years, was born in that region, and they drove through, and he didn't want to share that because it wasn't appropriate, because he would feel, I don't know, ostracised by it, or just I think the commentary in that situation was really good and did, as I say, like that at the time, did benefit it.